So my journey continues, meeting all of the senior members of the Wizz Air management team. I'm now in lovely Budapest at the head office, Danube in the background, sun shining, and I'm here with Yvonne Moynihan. So Yvonne, your role within the company, it's really an important role.
Yes, so I'm the corporate and ESG officer. So the corporate covers legal, government affairs and communications, and the ESG side, of course, covers sustainability. So sustainability is embedded within the organisation of Wizz Air, and it's become one of the most important topics in the last couple of years. And Wizz Air is really a leader in sustainability because we have been awarded on 2 occasions the honour of being the world's most environmentally sustainable airline. And that's purely down to facts and data. So we do have the lowest emissions intensity per passenger of any other airline globally. And that's all basically down to our investment in innovation and brand new technology aircraft.
So Yvonne, how do you balance the need for growth within the business, but also the demands of the environment?
That's a great question, David, because I like to say that curbing emissions doesn't mean curbing growth. And we need to remind people that flying is actually good, and it connects people and places, and it's still very important for economies and the growth of local tourism as well. So in order to fly more sustainably, the key is the business model. So our ULCC business model means that we are sustainable by design. And really, customer sentiment is changing. So there's still demand for flying, but it means for customers that they should choose more sustainable products and choose more responsibly. And like that, the investment in sustainable aviation fuel, the investment in new technology aircraft, and in the future investment in air traffic reform and hydrogen, that means that growth can continue, but we need to curb our emissions through technology.
One thing that's been a big target within the industry that I've had my profession is to bring more women into senior roles.
Yes.
I'm noticing already from my journey through the UK, where the MDs, women in leadership, like yourself as well. I'm noticing that Wizz Air seems to have had that at the heart of their growth.
Yes, we are, I guess, a standout company in that regard, because I've worked for 3 other airlines and I see huge progress in terms of gender diversity in Wizz Air. We do have strong representation in our management, and we strive for that. So we tie diversity to executive pay, for example. So that's one way that we're differentiating ourselves. And of course, we have a target for 40% women in management by 2026. And so we, by having those targets in place and by having, certain incentives, we find that we can be ahead of our competitors.
You're multinational as well. I see well over 100 different nationalities employed by the business.
Yes.
That must be very exciting, but it must have its own unique challenges as well.
Not particularly. I mean, when you work in aviation, it's very fast-paced, it's dynamic, there's always another crisis around the corner. So what keeps us all together and what handles the crisis is the teamwork. And so we're kind of in the foxhole, I guess, together. So as a result of that, we really lean on each other, and it's true what they say, that teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah,
well, it's been absolutely fascinating learning a little bit about your role in what is a stunning location for your headquarters. Very inspirational.
Yes, thank you very much, and thanks for talking to me today.
Well, my journey around Wizz Air continues, and next up I get to go into the nerve centre, the operational control centre of Wizz Air, and I'm going to have a chat with Mauro Peneda. Thank you very much.
Well, here we are, David. This is the ops room. This is where the magic happens. This is the beating heart of any airline, to be fair. I don't think we have a very atypical setup here. As soon as we walk in, right here at the middle, you can see the duty managers. They are kind of the maestros of this orchestra, so this is where the decisions are made and implemented. We are broadcasting information out, and we're consolidating information from the teams around us. You can see all these colorful screens with all this paraphernalia. These are no more than all of our flights being plotted on the screen. You can filter them by base, you can filter them by type of fleet. But here you have a graphical depiction of our schedule for today and the next 2 days. So we work on the 3-day horizon. Every single horizontal line is an aircraft. And you can see, let's say, the mission that we assign to that aircraft. We actually decide which aircraft takes each flight. We do this 3 days in advance. But then, of course, when the day of operation comes, we need to adapt to reality. We need to react to whatever is the situation in the actual day. So yeah, just from how dense the screen is and all these colors, you can see the ultra low cost model in practice, where high utilization, short ground times, and keep the aircraft flying. That's how we make the money, that's how we make our costs low, and that's how we can make tickets affordable for everybody to fly. We redesign all this puzzle as we go. And this was just from the aircraft side. Then we have the crew side of things, which is as complex as this, but involving actual human beings without which you cannot perform the flight. So the puzzle is complicated, and I've just shown you a little piece of it.
No, well, it's fantastic to have the opportunity. And beyond the actual flight operations itself, there's other people in this office. Is that part of the Wizz Air philosophy to integrate as much of the employees across one floor?
Oh, absolutely. So this is we call it an IOCC, so an Integrated Operations Control Center, which means not everybody here answers to me or answers to the OCC organization. Just from looking around, I can see colleagues from route permits team, I can see colleagues from customer experience who are handling the disruptions, I can see colleagues from crew logistics, and all of the other side of the floor, you can see the whole maintenance organization. And it's so critical that you have someone looking at the flights per se and the crew, but you also have someone looking at the asset of the metal, the engine and the aircraft itself, with all the telemetry telling us if there's anything wrong that needs to be fixed, and where, and when, and how. So the information just keeps flowing back and forth and helps us make educated decisions in real time. The mission actually is simple. Deliver the actual operation as close as possible to this design schedule. Complete the flight and complete it on time, because there's 240 people on board to whom the company made a promise. And the promise is to take you from A to B today at this time. So it is really a never-ending mission.
So in my world, a slow pit stop, we're expecting a 2-second, worst case 2.5-second execution. If we have a 5-second, that completely changes the strategy, and it means that we can't win the race. If you have a slot delay, or if passenger doesn't turn up but the bag's on there, all of these have an impact on your strategy.
Absolutely. No, just like in Formula One. I mean, the crew team is not showing up only for the race. We are also part of the planning phase, and at the planning phase we do insert strategic fire breaks in between these lines, against curfews, against the crew time buffers, etc., to make sure we have some shock absorbers and we have some margin to accommodate for these situations.
So it all seems very calm here right now. As you've explained, we're in the middle of the day, but it does seem that this would be quite a stressful role. So do you find it takes a special kind of person to want to sit there and be ready for that ramp up in pressure?
We're all a bit crazy here, okay? We're all ops guys, all of us have aviation background, and we're all very passionate about what we do. And it's all about, making these flights go and being proud when you look up in the sky and you see a Wizz tail taking off and you were a part of that possibility. We are adrenaline fueled. We like to solve problems all day, and aviation just throws you problems 24/7, so we are here to solve them.
Now is an opportunity to meet István, who is the OCC lead for the UK. Now, it's been really interesting for me to see behind the scenes here, and in your role, it's dedicated specifically to the UK operations, but you need to work in conjunction with your other teams who look after other territories, because the aircraft are constantly moving.
Yes, that is exactly how it's going on a daily basis. So basically what I'm doing is overseeing the UK operations, very close connection with the rest of the other airline, which we are operating within the Wizz Air group. We have 4 different airlines based in Malta, Hungary, UK, and Abu Dhabi. And every small detail must be in the place to have the operation excellence on a given day.
It feels relatively calm in here at this moment in time, but when I was looking at the screen, I'm already a little bit kind of stressed with the amount of aircraft movements that are happening. What would be the sort of advice you would give to anyone who is looking for a role within this part of aviation? What skill sets would they particularly need? Handling stress would seem to be one of them.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. What you can see here is an absolutely calm day, and this is what I always tell my team. We're basically one phone call away from the next problem. And in this industry, it is sometimes the very challenging situation becomes an industry standard or an average Tuesday afternoon. What is basically the most important is to have the procedures and the skill set of the people on in place to be ready to tackle these problems.
What's very clear to me is there is a real team spirit around the Wizz Air team, whether it's been at the flight training centre, whether it's at the UK site in Luton, whether it's with the ground service crew. Everyone seems very proud of what they're doing here. So there's a passion for this journey.
Yes. Aviation, I think, requires a certain passion, and if someone already experienced this, is very, very hard to forget, and slowly you become an adrenaline addict. And these challenges, which sometimes can be very overwhelming on the day, and you leave the office that, okay, this was the most challenging day, you just realize a couple of months or years after that you cannot basically live without that. Well, this is my 7th year, I'm still living for the thrill.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, it's fascinating to see and great to get an understanding of what happens beyond the aircraft, and guaranteeing that our flights move around as efficiently as possible. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.